Back on the dreaded. Hello, friends. It is I, the evil wizard Morcar, Alex boy. Welcome, welcome, one and all. I'll allow you to trickle in. I have grave news. Morcar fans, I have grave news. It has been 7 months since I uploaded any content to this channel, and I was shocked and ashamed to discover that I had a message from YouTube saying, "Oh no, Morcar, you have gone below the threshold required for monetization. Morcar, why don't you come back to YouTube?" So I heed the call, friends. And what better way than to get up my watch hours and to ensure that Morcar stays monetized on YouTube than because he's already lost his, he has to reapply for it and all sorts. Because poor old Morcar, uh, I have not been able. I've been away. I've been leveling up my magic spells. I have been learning new conjuration spells, and I have mastered the art of conjure golem. But anyway, yes, welcome all. If you'd like to take a sip of your weak lemon drink, do it now, and I will fire up Crisis in the Kremlin, a game in which you play as the premier of the Soviet Union in its dying years, in the place where Mikhail Gorbachev came in. And the challenge is to see if you can save the USSR. And I will be doing this. So let's fire it up. Okay. Now, hopefully you can all see this. Can you all see this? Press 1 if you can see this. Can you see the screen? Can you hear the music? Let's see. Can you see the music when I go to the game? Can you see that? Can you see it? Yes. Okay. Right. In fact, I tell you what. While we're going to be starting in 1985, and I will make my selections very soon. But let me go and get my phone so I can see the chat. Hold on a second. Okay. All right. I have my phone. Let's see if we can save the Soviet Union. Let's have a look. Going to be making an effort. Can't hear the music. Okay, well, it's probably just as well that you can't hear the music. It's just some rousing Soviet music. I mean, I don't know if it. Can you hear it now? Can you hear that? Hear that music? Ooh, I want realism. Realism. Let's go for this. Still can't hear music. Oh. Well, is it important to have music? Is it important? How else can I do this? Let's have a look. How do you do this? Hold on a minute. Also share audio. Share screen, entire screen. I wasn't sharing the system audio. Here we go. Okay, let's get it back up. Let's do this. Now you should be able to hear the system audio. Can you hear that? Should be able to hear it now. Yes, okay. We're going to be starting in 1985. And we've got Romanov, he's conservative, he's a neo-Stalinist, he's an opposite of reformers. Oh, it's a bit loud, isn't it? Let's just turn it down a minute. Turn it down a bit. It's too loud. Right. Reformer, opponent of the old Soviet. Oh God. Supporter of democracy. No, that's gay. Huge experience. No, I want to be the Stalinist. I want to be a Stalinist. I'm a conservative Stalinist. All right, so let's have a look at the situation. Here's all our various different things. I still think this is too loud. Turn it right down here. Okay, so let's have a look. There's the globe. We're gonna have a look at the various different parts of the globe. What we want is this map here. We want to see the different parts of the map. The red is mine. The blue is the evil fascists, the USA. Okay, so we're gonna. Okay, all right. Just getting my bearings here, remembering what to do in this game. Here's my calculator, where I can do various payings off for various people. Okay, we'll deal with that in a second. And what's this? This is minds, liberalization, freedom. We want to reduce freedom. We want to bring liberalization down. And I actually want to reduce education as well. Want to reduce citizens' income, reduce luxury, increase law and order up here somewhere. Okay, so I'm just looking at some goals here. Okay, we want to focus on industry, I think, to make USSR a powerhouse. Now, we know historically that oil was the pivotal factor that undermined the Soviet Union. So we want to reduce our dependency on oil and increase our industry exports, heavy industry, and so on. Then we want. Okay, there's the USA. Right. We want to increase the loyalty of all the generals and the KGB. So we're going to give them healthy payoffs. We want to increase right-wing loyalty and soldiers' loyalty. We want to crush the left wing. Okay, so those are some nice goals. Here are our various ministries. We'll have a look at those in a second. So the first thing we want to do is balance the budget a moment. So we're giving payoffs to state propaganda. Okay. We've got no luxury or medical budgets at the moment. Where can we cut and where can we add? Okay. Right, I want to increase the industry. Maybe we'll leave it as is for the time being, but let's have a look at our ministries. Okay, so oil, the extraction is 100% at the moment. Let's max that out for the time being. Let's just massively increase oil production because it's going to tank. So we might as well fucking max it out. How do I undo that? Shit. Shit, I've increased taxes by mistake. Bribe officials in exchange for political points. Oh, shit, I've just paid off all our loans. Fuck. Okay, alright. So we have no loans. I'm massively increased and tanking the price of oil so we don't focus on it. I've increased taxes. Here are the leading politicians. We want Gorbachev gone. We want Gorbachev gone. We want Yeltsin gone. We want all these fuckers gone. Grishin can stay, but we want these reforming guys gone. Okay. What else can we do? All right, so what has that done to the budget? Has that done anything to the budget at this point? Oh, shit. On June the 17th, 1953, riots took place in the German Democratic Republic due to a food crisis, over-industrialization, and the Soviet leadership's desire to unite Germany as a neutral state. The situation was aggravated by the actions of the American Special Forces. Okay. The crowd seized the SED Central Committee building and a red flag was dropped. The GDR Customs Service building being razed to the ground. After fierce assault, the headquarters of the National Front, the Central Council of the Trade Unions, and the Soviet-German friendship were finally captured. Support the transfer of power to moderates, use the army, intervene with all possible force. We will be intervening with all possible force. By the afternoon of on June the 17th, Beria made a critical executive decision to quell the unrest by force. General Goldleeds and General Greco formed the executive head of the special operation. For several hours, Soviet troops formed a blockade around the borders of the GDR, whilst tank columns decisively cooled the ardor of the Western military preparations. Okay. The tanks introduced into East Berlin met with shots and Molotov cocktails. Soviet soldiers were stunned by the scolding and repeated chant, "Ivan, get out." The crowd played Nazi hymns before the Soviet units finally restored to the use of lethal force. Good, used lethal force. With order restored to Berlin in only a few hours, the next day troops were brought into Dresden. As a result, the counter-revolutionary rebellion was suppressed and the situation was brought under control. Yes. Okay. Now, let's have a look at my budget. I still don't have any excess. Need to sort the budget out. I want to have a surplus. Look, we're losing money in the gold reserve. That's a problem. I accidentally increased the taxes. I shouldn't have done that. Oil trade. We're going to have to reduce. We're going to have to bring up the oil production again, I think. We want it to be optimal. So there is our marginal. This is our point. This is our optimal point of marginal productivity. It was right here. 14. Still losing money every term. We're going to need to sort that out. Right. We're going to have to start making political moves sharpish as well. So where is our political points? The council. 18% Stalinists, 47% conservatives. That's good. Trotskyists are bad. Banned. Reformers and liberals, 0%. We want to ban the moderates. We want those moderates gone. Okay, what else have we got? Where can I see my political points? Let's have a look. I want to put pressure on Gorbachev. Put pressure on Gorbachev. I want Gorbachev gone. Okay, I've got no science points. No science points. All right, let's have a look at the Council of Ministries. Here are all the different ministries. We want to pick different people in each role, don't we? So who's this? US containment. So in the foreign affairs, we'll put Gromyko. We've got Gromyko. Okay, so these are the people we've got at the moment. We can't change anyone yet. We don't have the political capital to do any of that. Open ministry for 100 political points. What's that? Foreign ministry. We don't have political points. No science either. Need to start generating political and science points. I've got no science. Minus 15 political power points. Budget of 3,000. Top loyalty, army strength. Okay. Let us do some work on the world stage, shall we? So what is our priorities here? We want to... What is our priorities? We want to flip the whole map red, ultimately. So this, the GDR. What country shall we target? India is already under war for Kashmir. We need political points for that. We need to get those political points up somehow. What's this country here? Republic of Korea. Japan. Okay. What have we got over here? We've got a base in Afghanistan there. Iran. Military invasion. Should we just invade Iran? We need points. What's this? Jordan. Saudi. We've got Yemen. Okay. Just seeing what the situation is everywhere. South African apartheid. Botswana. We can subsidize Botswana, try to flip Botswana, and through that, try to take over South Africa and Zimbabwe. No points. No points. Okay, I need to get those political points up somehow. So let's carry on. Okay. October 1956 marked a period of counter-revolutionary insurgency in Hungary, caused by the subversive actions of Imre Nagy's reformist faction, BOO, and the mistakes made by the country's leadership during Hungary's industrialization. Armed militants attacked the state and the party's institutions throughout Hungary. The Budapest Committee of the Hungarian Workers' Party was stormed and burned to the ground, as communist and Soviet sympathizers began to be killed en masse throughout the country. Nagy's government supported the insurgency and announced the dissolution of the HWP and Hungary's withdrawal from the Warsaw Pact, calling on NATO to protect Hungarian democracy. Fascists! The army and a considerable part of the party apparatus also joined the fighting. I shall intervene with all possible force. Under pressure from Marshal Zhukov, Molotov, and Kaganon, it was decided to intervene and suppress the rebellion on the evening of the 3rd of November. The military command of the putschists was arrested and the Tekel military base, after which special corps units began moving to Budapest and other major cities of the country encircling the capital. Soviet troops captured Gudert Hill on the western bank of the Danube. Artillery and rocket launchers were installed here. The assault began with artillery fire, then tank columns rushed forward to capture bridges and the main strongholds of the resistance. Infantry supported by tanks began to sweep the urban areas, and the resistance of the Hungarian army fascist gangs was quickly suppressed. Yes! By the 11th of November, the armed resistance was broken, not only in the capital but throughout Hungary. Activity of Hungarian Labour Party was restored to the leadership of the party, and the returned disgraced conservative Ern Gehr, who started a mass purge. Yes, Imre Nagy was tried to take refuge in the Yugoslav embassy, but was extradited at our request and executed along with his associates. The situation is under control. Fist pump, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I think we have to do these pre-game events before I get political points. Let's carry on. The doctrines of the various religious groups, especially that of the Russian Orthodox Church, remained influential within the Soviet Union. However, as you know, Yuri Gagarin went into space. He did not notice any evidence pointing to the existence of God. Does this not confirm one of the fundamental theses of Marxism and of scientific atheism? I have a decision to make. Can I rely on the church, the Orthodox Church, to be allies, or must they be crushed? Let's not disturb that. Let's just say we should not violate freedom of conscience. A certain easing of religious policy followed. The open oppression of believers was stopped. The rate of atheistic agitation was reduced. The return of the temples and other objects of worship to the Russian Orthodox Church began, which led to an increase in the influence of the church and its ideas in the minds of the people. We're gonna have to pay off the church. That's without doubt at this point. The church will be a chief node of state propaganda. Okay, we're going to have to continue these events. Czechoslovakia. Since 1967, the situation in Czechoslovakia began to destabilize. The reform forces, most of which were previously members of the SDB, which were part of the CPC, went on the offensive against the conservative leadership of the CPC, demanding wide reforms. From the beginning of 1968, a struggle unfolded already within the highest echelon of the party, the political leadership of the state, in which the USSR supported the young reformer Alexander Dubek, who was considered a pro-Soviet politician. In January 1968, he became the first secretary of the Central Committee of the CPC. However, after coming to power, he began drastic reforms, including the abolition of social guarantees, the transition to a market economy, fascism, and criticism of the Soviet Union by radio and newspapers. He is a subversive. The undermining position of the CPC transformation actually led to the withdrawal of the Czechoslovakia from the Warsaw Pact and the collapse of the socialist system. The leadership of the USSR and all countries of Eastern Europe tried peaceful means to dissuade Dubek to stop them, but he is hoping for support of NATO, the European communists, and China refused any compromise. Then the issue of forced intervention was raised. Let us use the army to restore socialism, shall we? Just before the invasion, Soviet Minister Grenko called the Czechoslovak counterpart, Zer, and warned him about the upcoming action against the resistance. At 11 o'clock on August the 20th, the troops of the USSR, Poland, Hungary, East Germany, and Bulgaria, under the command of General Pavlovsky, crossed the Czechoslovakian border. There was no significant resistance to them, and the Slovak population, in particular the peasants, even welcomed the Soviet forces as the guarantor and preservation of social benefits, were announcing the Czech leaders. Yes! Yes! Do it for Mother Russia! The entire leadership of Czechoslovakia was arrested and taken to Moscow, now led by conservative Gustav Husak, began the rollback of reforms which received the support of Slovak moderate reformers led by Vasil Bilek, who had previously been an ally of Dubek, but it did not accept further anti-Soviet and anti-socialist orientation of reforms. After the disappearance of Dubek's forces, Czechoslovakia finally transformed from a unitary state to a federal one. Okay, I think there's more of these. Lieberman's reform. Lieberman's reform, supported by Kosygin, developed under Khrushchev and taking strong influence from the Hungarian reforms, envisaged the expansion of the economic dependence of enterprises, associations, and organizations, the widespread use of material incentives, and the raising of consumer costs. Okay. Lieberman estimated the cost of his reform to be the value of the paper on which it was written, with the idea of O-gas being pushed onto the back shelf. Partially support the reform, cancelling it at the right moment. Fully implement it. Transfer the party's view to the idea of automation. Automation? Let's have a look. Lieberman's reform. Let's cancel it at the right moment. At first, the reform yielded promising results in 1966. Blah, blah, blah. There was a chronic shortage of consumer goods, especially food, which forced the USSR to increase its purchases. 10.2 tons of gold were spent. These were not reforms, but a road to nowhere. Okay. And the space race. The space race, which began in 1957, was de facto lost by us. Despite our great achievements, the first satellite, the first manned flight, the first spacewalk, the first landing on a space object, and the first photos of Venus and the moon. The Americans landed on the moon, photographed Mars, and sent spacecraft to Jupiter and Saturn, snatching away our long-sought victory. It's now 75, and we have to spend vast sums of money in order to support our allied socialist countries. not to mention the lives of our people. Many people no longer see sense in it. Should we put an end to the space race? Let's just stop the race straight away. The United States continued with its half of its larger US Soviet space race, culminating in the creation of manned, reusable space transportation. The USSR unilaterally stopped this race and allocated funds for more important projects based. Okay, some more of these. The Islamic Revolution in Iran. In the Islamic Revolution, in 1979, the first chapter in the history of the Islamic Revolution came to a close with the overthrow of the pro-Iranian regime of Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi in Iran. A Shiite government headed by Ayatollah Khomeini came to power, opposing both the US and the USSR. The country began implementing Sharia law, carrying out repressions against monarchists, Democrats, and communists, many of whom were executed. At the same time, a cultural revolution began in Iran, with the private sector of the economy becoming nationalized, confirming the country's movement on a non-capitalist path of economic development. Break relations, support the communists, support Islamic socialism and create a major left-wing opposition, negotiate with the Islamists and recognize their government. Let's make them allies later, shall we? Let's make them allies, because they're anti-Americans. So let's ally with them. Due to the fact that we did not oppose Shiism and supported the overthrow of the Shah, Ayatollah Khomeini agreed to closer rapprochement between Iran and the USSR. The main part of the communists joined in the ruling party, and the fact that Khomeini is committed to a planned economy has only affirmed our position. Now Iran is one of our non-aligned allies. Brilliant. Good. Okay, let's see. Vladimir Vygotsky. The famous bard Vygotsky expressed opposition, but not pro-Western ideas, becoming more and more popular, particularly among the Soviet youth. His work does not fall under our ideological censors because he strongly ridicules and criticizes our party. What? However, Vygotsky enjoys great support among the people. Tens of thousands of listeners gather to his concerts. Thousands of records are bought with his songs. Long queues are always going to the film The Meeting Place Cannot Be Changed, where he played the main role. Something needs to be done because even party members began to listen to his songs. This is a problem. Prohibit his performances, arrest and imprison him. Let's just say criticism is good for the party. Yes, criticism is good for the party. We can live with this dude. It's fine. We're strong enough to deal with him. The persecution was stopped. His performances and concerts were often shown on television and songs included on the radio. He was able to publish several collections of songs, autobiographical book, first edition of which sold out in a week. He was even awarded the USSR State Prize for creating the image of Zeklov in the television film The Meeting Cannot Be Changed, and the author's performance of songs. When he passed away in 1980, 108,000 fans of his work escorted their idol to the last journey, and numerous obituaries published foreign media. Head of the Soviet government personally gave a speech at the funeral, noting the outstanding achievements of Vygotsky in the development of Soviet culture. Fine, we can deal with that. And there's still more of these. The Polish crisis. In 1980, Edward Gierek, who led the country since December 1970, formed policies that led Poland to a full-scale crisis. They were initially very successful, boasting a national income growth of 9.8%. Good. Okay, blah, blah, blah. The market boomed. However, this was due to constant borrowing from the West, fascists, which caused Polish public debt to swell to over $25.5 billion. That year, interest rates spiked sharply, forcing the government to raise prices on most consumer goods. The price of meat in particular undergoing significant increases. Disgusting Western usury. This caused mass protests, which were headed by the so-called Union Solidarity. As a result, Gerek resigned, failing to restore order, leaving his successor Stalin saw Kaneka, who was ineffectual at best, to run the country. As a result, the situation is escalating further. Intervene with all possible force. The military invasion plan was created by Chief of General Staff of the USSR, Marshal Orgkov, and the Deputy of the Polish Defense and Staff, General Hupalowski. The plan includes the introduction of the Soviet, East German, and Czechoslovak troops into Polish territory. The Polish troops instructed to remain in their respective barracks for the duration of the operation. The invasion forces included 15 Soviet divisions, 2 German divisions, 1 Czechoslovak division. The reconnaissance of the routes and troops concentrations were conducted, in which Polish representatives took an active part. On December the 9th, 1980, units of the North Armed Forces Group of the USSR, together with the divisions of the National People's Army of the GDR and the Czechoslovak People's Army, entered Polish territory, began a rapid advance towards key cities in the country, with groups of the Polish army not offering any resistance at all based. Solidarity went underground, and the PWP leadership was arrested and taken to the USSR. The new leadership of the People's Republic of Poland, headed by General Jaruzelski, announced its course towards a new line of socialism, which envisages carrying out reforms within the framework of Marxism under the supervision of our troops. Excellent. Well, there's still more of these. Samantha Smith. In 1982, the fascist pig Reagan administration is threatening the USSR and spins the flywheel of the arms race, beginning the SDI program. The General Secretary of the CPSU Central Committee publishes a tough article in the Pravda newspaper threatening the United States. This article, with a large portrait of Comrade Secretary General, is being republished by Time magazine and read by one little girl who was very scared, and deciding not to take the floor in the lies of the imperialist media, she wrote a letter in which she directly asked about our policies. Oh my God. Ignore it. Invite her as a tourist to the USSR. Invite and recruit her. Let us recruit Samantha Smith. Samantha's letter was published in the newspaper Pravda. Comment: why do you want to conquer the world, or at least our country, says Samantha Smith, from the city of Manchester, in the state of Maine. It seems that Samantha can be forgiven for her confusion. The girl is only 10 years old. However, Comrade General Secretary did not leave the letter without attention and personally wrote her a response. Of it, Samantha found out about our peacefulness, in which she was asked to make sure. After arrival, we sent her to a special a pioneer camp filled with freelance Cosmol and KGB officers. As a result of this, upon arrival in the US, she gave an interview in which it turned out that the standard of living in the United States is much worse than in the USSR. Relations with the West have cooled, but the whole world now knows about the horrors of imperialism, and our dissidents have quieted down. However, she soon died tragically in a plane crash, and her words are slowly beginning to be called our propaganda. The pre-game events are over, and the game has started. Okay, now we've got some political PowerPoints. Now we can start to play. Right. What shall we do first? I mean, the first thing to do is sort out the bloody council, isn't it? I want to ban the moderates. I still don't know how to reduce taxes. You still have a deficit there. We're getting 136, 30, and 15. Okay, just want to make sure I've got my marginal. Okay, that's the marginal revenue product there of the oil. Export. Okay, so we're making money. We're making money every turn. We have no debt. That's very important. I hate Gorbachev and want him gone, and I want Yeltsin gone. Okay. Right, we have 35 political points. Not enough to open the ministry. What we can do is choose our... This music is very loud. I'm going to have to try to turn it down somehow. Turn this bloody music down. Is it there? Let's just turn the music off. It's driving me crazy. Okay. Right. So, we're going to have to choose this council. This is very important for our plans. We have to try to get rid of any reformers in the Council of Ministers, okay? So we're going to start with the foreign ministry. We've got the new political thinking, George and Sly Fox, improves relations with the US and France, increasing the level of liberalization. No, that is gay. We don't want that. Grumko is containment. We've got coexistence, maintains neutrality in foreign policy, improving relations with the USA, friendship with China, supporter of détente with China. Let's do that. I would like pro-Chinese. Want to hug the Chinese close. Hug the Chinese close. Stop dirty Americans getting their Chinese goodies. Okay, what else? Ministry of Internal Affairs. Unsubsidized policy, a native of the KGB, supporter of tough measures, increases revenues by reducing the loyalty of the republics. Well, we don't want that. Subsidy policy, a liberal partocrat. Well, I don't like the word liberal. Introduction of market relations, reformer general, weakening police control. No. Hard line, Latvian, convinced Soviet patriot with a hard hand, punishes corrupt officials, reduces the level of corruption by reducing the loyalty of the republics to the USSR. Civil security, partocrat in uniform, believes that the people will help the Ministry of Affairs if the masses are organized, strengthens the fight against crime by increasing the liberalization of mines. I don't want the loyalty of the republics to go down. I think I'm going to have to put this Vlaslov in. The liberalization of mines is fine. The liberalization of mines is absolutely fine, I think, because if they believe they're free, they're less likely to try to overthrow us. You understand my thinking here? Where I want to keep hold of the empire, so I don't like this decreasing loyalty. Let's put in Vlaslov. Okay, Ministry of Defense. Improving soldiers' living, Sergei Sokolov. Increase the loyalty of soldiers by reducing the strength of the army. Party line, very cautious veteran who believes that the army should not be involved in politics. Uses the trait of another minister, depending on the leading faction party, but acts 50% less effectively. Can't support a conspiracy against you. A living embodiment of the Soviet military power. A strong country, a strong army. Increases the strength and number of the army by reducing its loyalty and relations with the United States. Let's go for him. Fuck the United States. We'll have Ashalov as our defense minister. The State Planning Committee. Stalin's commissar, firmly following the line of the party. Maximum income, technocrat reformer, squeezing money out of the republics, increases revenues by reducing loyalty. I don't want to reduce loyalty. Arms race support, veteran of Soviet industry, Priority is a strong army. Increase army strength by lowering military-industrial complex, heavy industry and light industry. Consumer goods support. Strong business executive focused on providing market with goods. Increases consumer goods and luxury to a minus to heavy industry. Why can't I pick him? I want him. I want to increase my industry. Let's just have this dude. He seems like a safe pair of hands. He's not gonna conspire. Okay, the chairman of the Supreme Council. That is Romanov, who we picked, right? That is who we picked. He is the current ruler, so we can't change him. That's me, essentially. Promotes conservatives and Stalinists to the Supreme Council based. Ministry of Industry. Focus on chemical industry, partocrat. Previously worked in the chemical industry. Improves agricultural due to reduction of the military-industrial complex and heavy industry. Don't like the sound of that. Focus on heavy industry. Veteran of the spate race. Increases the military-industrial complex and the heavy industry at the expense of agriculture. I like the sound of that. Increases ecology. No, okay. Focus on production. Nuclear project. Increases defense industry, heavy industry, light industry at the cost of reducing agricultural and service sectors. I like this guy. I'm going to go with Sergei Afanasyev. We can import food if we need to, or we can just whip them, make them work harder. Ministry of Education. Reduces liberalization and freedom. Methods of propaganda. Conservative, anti-Stalinist. Introduction of Western art. Soviet education methods. Improves education and mind liberalization. Supporter of maintaining the stability of the educational system. Simplification of education. Unpopular initiation of democratization. Reduces the level of education liberalization. Increases unity of opinion. I like him. Yagodin is my... We want unity of opinion above all else. Committee of the State Secretary. So he's the party line guy. Moderate intervention reduces the level of liberalization of minds. He is from the Andropov line. Direct intervention. KGB veteran who has long been responsible for protecting the constitutional order, reduces corruption, opposition, liberalization, and level of freedom. Let's do that. Yes, Bob Koff, he's my man. All right, fighting the West. One of the founders of the GRU, firmly opposed to the US and the West. This is the main intelligence directorate. Reduces loyalty, strength of the army, and contentment of the people of the USA by a strong increasing spending. He's the guy who's in the Brezhnev Doctrine, US containment, distant approaches, reduces liberalization in the Warsaw Pact countries. Army reinforcement, native of the Soviet army, defends its interests, increases the strength of the Soviet army by lowering relations with the USA. That is consistent with the rest of my policy, so let's go with Mikhailov. All right, first secretary of the Komsomol Central Committee. My only possible option, unfortunately, is the party dude, Eugene Tyzelkinov. And finally, in my Ministry of Agriculture, a bias in favor of light industry. A man who, due to agricultural raises light industry. Increases competitive by lowering agricultural. Reduces heavy industry due to agricultural. Increases competitiveness due to a significant increase in costs. Let's have this dude. I want my industry up. Okay, so that is the council sorted. Who else have we got? We don't have any science points at the moment. Minus 150. We have loyal generals. We've got 11 political points left. So let us. How much money do we have? 3,000. Let us start to play a little bit on the world stage now. So Iran is on side now. You see how it's turned red? We don't have any control in it, but they're allies, basically, against America. China. We want to give China access to USSR's market. Something is wrong. Required, not state-planned economy. Invite to the WPO. Can't do that. Can't do that. Can't do that. What are our relations? Our relations are only 30, so we can't do that. We can do detente with China, though. Okay, good. Nepal has no options. Burma has no options. That's taken 1 point. Okay, so these take 1 point each. So we want to be pretty active on the world stage here. Can't do anything in the blue countries. Well, we can actually. Look. Required Gaullists. DEFCON 3. Relations with France. No close relations with the USA. If we can get France to leave NATO, that would be a boom, wouldn't it? Let's support the Gaullists in France. Okay, so we've got 9 more of these actions. Yugoslavia can't do much there. Switzerland is a no-go zone. Greece. We can finance communism in Italy, I suppose. Finance communism in Spain and in Ireland. Okay. It's down here. We can support a revolution in Botswana. Yes. We can support a revolution in Zimbabwe. Yes. And we can invite apartheid South Africa to... No, we can't. Why? Communist Party rules or USA has fallen. So, okay, we can still take these bits of Africa. How many? 7 points left. We can... What's this country down here? Next to Zimbabwe. Mozambique. We can have that already. Not doing very well in the South American space by the looks of things. See what's down here. We have Bolivia only. South America is a horrible sea of blue. We've got Cuba, Mexico. Can't do anything there. Guatemala, Honduras, Salvador, Nicaragua we've got. Okay, let's concentrate on closer to home first, I think. Pakistan, strike the terrorists. Pakistan is pro-Soviet, or USA has fallen. USA has fallen. Can't do anything in Pakistan, sadly. Afghanistan. Communist control, 70. Can't do that. Going to pacify Afghanistan. See no reason not to. What else have we got over here? Burma, Bangladesh, Bhutan. Can we do anything in 60 Kuril of the Soviet? Korea isn't united. Shall we restart the Korean War? Can't do that. Why is that? Korea isn't united. Can provide aid. Okay, we can't do anything in Korea at the moment. What other mischief can we cause? So this is Western Germany. Finance the pro-Soviets. Can't do anything in Germany. It's occupied. Let's finance communism in Italy. Can we do that? For some reason we can't. USA is stopping that. USA is stopping that. Bloody Americans. What about Ireland? USA. Aid provided. Industry power is above 8. Or the USA has fallen. Equal status. Dissolution. Send aid to Finland. Ideally, we want Finland to become part of the USSR. Let's give them military aid as well. Can't do that yet. Industry power is not above 8 yet. Okay, what other things can we do? 4 more actions, friends. Oh yeah, Canada. That's a good point. Let's have a look at Canada. Anything doing up there? Send Fidel Castro to shag his wife. Oh no, can't do that. Let's support revolution in Brazil. Three more points. Let's support revolution in Argentina. Let's support revolution in Uruguay. 1 point left. Okay. Let's do it again in Argentina. There we go. All right, let's carry on. More pluralism. Now that we have come to power, we realize that there were not enough people with certain reformist views in the party. And the time comes for a decisive step. You can support the young, possibly progressive neo-communist party of the Soviet Union, secretly, of course, and release Tarasov from a psychiatric hospital. You can also return Yakovlev or Kosolov from disgrace. The former once opposed the entry of troops into Czechoslovakia and has a close friendly ties with the British monarchy, and the latter contributed to the restoration of Molotov in the party and was pushed back for his pronounced Stalinism and foretelling of a possible counter-revolution. Kosolov, he's good. He's a Stalinist. You can also continue Andropov's work and form a special economic commission of Abalkin, thus preparing the foundation for economic reform. I want this Stalinist back in the fold, and ideally I want the reformers gone. So what do? Let the Trotskyists join the party, return Yakovlev, return Kosolopov, no, we want the Stalinists back. Kosolapov is coming back. Richard Kosolapov, editor-in-chief of the magazine Communist, was included in the Politburo of 26 convocation, after which the disgraced Gregory Malenkov and Lazar Kaganovich were rehabilitated under his patronage. With the return of the party tickets and the benefits of former members of the Politburo, he has already sent you a letter in which he proposes the political rehabilitation. Yes. Brilliant. We've got a Stalinist back. Good. We've got a Stalinist back. This is good news. Does he show up here somewhere? Is that him? A neo-Stalinist philosopher promotes Stalinists. Yes. Get in there, son. We've got 30 points to play with. Not doing well on the old science front. Let's see what we can do about that. I want science points, really. We need to open that ministry for 100. DEFCON level is there. Relations with China's 39. We've got 16 profit a turn. Woo! 16 profit a turn. So let us now look at reallocating these funds a little bit. So we've got agriculture is at 170, housing 80. Let's put this extra money in here. So let's say 155 in heavy industry. Can we do that? No. 150 in industry. 140 in industry. There we go. We're just increasing some heavy industry. Don't have much excess funds. But let's carry on. No, 30 political points. Let us see what the situation is. Botswana. We want to foment revolutions down here. 51, 61, 71, 81, 101. Argentina should go commie soon. Let's do the same in Brazil. And the same in Uruguay. We want to turn Latin America commie, because that will cause more of a headache for Uncle Sam. Okay, 4 points left. What else can we do? We are financing Gaulis there. Still can't do that. What's this? Jordan, Israel, can't do anything with them. Egypt, can't do anything with them. We've got base there in Iran. We've got a base in Afghanistan. Send weapons to Afghanistan. What are we doing down here? Revolution in Botswana, revolution in Zimbabwe. One more. Do more revolution in Botswana. Okay, let's carry on. The second face of the country. Comrade, now that you have come to power, you need to approve the informal second person of the country, the secretary of the Central Committee of the CPSU for ideology, who will de facto be your deputy, will also oversee the Supreme Council of the USSR and guide the ideological work of the party. The choice is wide enough for all, and these people can have a huge impact on the life of our country. Who is your choice? Kosolapov, our man. Richard Isovich Kosoplopov, Doctor of Philosophy, professor at Moscow State University and the editor-in-chief of the magazine Communist, a firm opponent of market reforms based, who previously never put forward the theory that there was never a developed socialism in the USSR. The country is only moving towards building socialism, and who is a supporter of Joseph Stalin, is already pushing up people who are loyal to the idea of Stalinism. Brilliant. Fucking brilliant. No profit, though. Why has our profit gone down? Still the optimal level is there, isn't it? Okay. Let's have a look. Is there any new council? Is there any new base Stalinists we can put in power? Here's our man. There he is. The first secretary of the Commissar Central Committee. There he is. Any new Stalinists come available? No, I don't think any new people have come in. Want Gorbachev gone, want Yeltsin gone still. Bribe officials in exchange for political points. Don't want to do that at this point. What I want to do really is to try to increase our income somehow. Let us reduce the budget for intellectuals a little bit. We want to completely eliminate the budget for left wing, increase the budget for right wing, increase the budget for generals, increase the budget for special services. We can decrease the state propaganda budget a little bit. Decrease UN support. decrease diplomatic missions a little bit and fucking halve environmental support. Okay, that's given us a bit more money to play with. Maybe some medical supplies. A little bit of luxury for the people. These are imports that we're bringing in. Cut some social expenses. Maybe a little bit more in the fight against corruption. Increase the salaries of the officials. Keep all of that the same. Yeah, all that's fine. All of this is fine. Okay, leave it go. All right. We've got 12 political points. Let's see what else we can do down here. Still no revolution here. Let's... Oh, it's already... Okay, let's send... military... No, can't do that. Why can't we do this? What's going on? Why are they stopping me doing stuff in Brazil and Argentina? Let's have a look. Revolution's already over 100. Subsidize it. Subsidize it. Subsidize it. Yeah. More revolution in Zimbabwe and Botswana. Let's get these countries away. Okay, let's carry on. You have too much spare money. Spend it. Okay. 100 million to spend. Let us fucking max out the heavy industry and the light industry. How about that? Strategic Defense Initiative, a long-term research and development program announced by President Reagan. According to our military experts, the name that would be more accurately convey the essence of the program would be Strategic Initiative Defense. That is, defense that involves performing independent active actions up to and including an attack. Development continues and funding is in full swing. We can no longer sit idly by. You're talking about Star Wars, essentially. Okay. Protest at a diplomatic level. Increase the nuclear program as a response. Do not pay attention to this provocation. Start developing a response system. Well, Star Wars was bullshit, so let's just leave it go, shall we? The leadership of our country did not react to the innovative American project. Discontent is brewing among the army leadership and irreconcilable conservatives. In their opinion, we underestimate the danger of SDI. Okay, the argument of scientists is simply impossible to implement this now, or rejected by them as criminal complacency. All right, that was unpopular move. The generals are pissed off at that. Shit. Okay, that was a mistake by me, seemingly. Let us bribe some officials. We have 20 profit. What's the bribe cost? You done that? 61 points. Oh shit. Your personal advisor offers to deal with the competitors who prevented us from coming to power and will continue to interfere with any of our actions in order to strengthen their position, discredit us, and get the coveted place. We need to show strength. Can't leave the situation as it was before. Lead the party against Gorbachev. Yes. Fuck Gorbachev. Now that we have become the most a significant figure in the political arena of the USSR, we were able to turn around with might and main. Supporters of social democratic reforms were defeated or removed from power. From our main opponent, we are preparing the possibility of sending him into retirement. Brilliant. Hopefully, Gorbachev is weakened to 1. Soon, he will be eliminated. Okay, what else have we got? What are these here? What can we do? Separation of powers. We can mess around here with points. We've got 65 points. But we used them all. Why have we got no... What happened to that 65 points I had? Okay, let's carry on. I don't know why the science is so low. Need to figure that out. Okay, let's carry on. Anti-alcohol campaign. The Supreme Council, in particular, is its prominent representatives, Comrades Likachev and Solomentsev, proposes to launch a large-scale anti-alcohol campaign, since many of our citizens are now addicted to alcohol. Your word. Nah, I saw that. On April 4th, 1985, the Politburo met to discuss measures to overcome drunkenness and alcoholism. Reducing the production and sale of alcohol at the same time will significantly reduce the state budget revenues. In 1986, by 4 billion rubles. In 1987, by 8.5. How to compensate for revenues to the state budget? The budget will be unbalanced, you said, after which it was decided to refuse the offer. After Ligachev's proposal was rejected, alcohol products continue to make a profit for the state, and the population continues to consume alcohol products in progression to an increase in its quantity. Medics are sounding the alarm. Fine. General loyalty has gone up. We've got 27 points. We're back in profit. Relations with the US have reduced somewhat. Okay. Still no revolutions. Oh, look. Yes. We've got a Soviet Argentina. And we've got a red Brazil. And we've got a red Uruguay. We have flipped 3 countries red. And we're working on these 2 over here. Why can't we do it? The reserve. The reserve is less than 400. We need to get that up somehow. Autofill a reserve. Autofill reserve. Let's turn that on. Okay. 27 points. I want to see how we can change the government. Open the ministry. The ministry is not open. We need to have 180 points for that. Yeah, we need the ministry open. How we get those points, I don't know. Need to generate them somehow. Okay, science is still not doing well. I don't know how to fix that till we open the science ministry. But those points don't stay. You see, I 65 and it didn't sustain. What else can we do here? Seems like if you don't spend those points, they go. Socialists are still in control there. Okay. Don't have the reserve to do that, sadly. Look. We are 15 in profit, though, so maybe if we just spend a couple of turns in profit. I can't spend those political points, though, sadly. Reformers are gone. Liberals are gone. There's still too many moderates. We want to ban the moderates next. We support the Stalinists. Crisis of services sector. It's a catastrophe. All businesses are stopping their work and others are falling apart. If we don't do anything, this part of the economy will be destroyed. Spend all research points to develop innovative methods. Send finances to this sphere. Let's do that. We hope that will help. Right, 33 political points now. Minus 50 in profit. That reserve. We're minus 50 in profit. Does that mean we can't continue? Campaign against the racism. An urgent message for our Minister of Foreign Affairs. USA has put economic sanctions on the South African Republic, which still pursues a policy of racial segregation. Should they intervene in other countries' affairs? All the world is waiting for our government's reaction. Condemn the intervention. Side with the apartheid. See if we can get them on board. After we condemn the Americans because of their interference in the affairs of South Africa, we and the South Africans agreed to help each other against the Western threat. In Europe, a lot of our dissidents started to write different articles and samizdats. They accused us of helping racism, and you were personally compared with Hitler. So, oh look, those political points are going up. We're saving them up. And we're back in profit, friends. We're back in profit. That's good. Let's see now if we can invite South Africa. Nah. Okay, we still don't have enough money there, though, do we? Why can't you reduce taxes then? I don't get that. All right, let's carry on. I want to try to save up those political points. Try to save those political points. Democratic movement in Russia. Unhappy Russian citizens, while being provoked by radical opposition, entered the streets with the demand of your retirement as a tyrant and totalitarian. Let us call the army against the rebels. Soldiers successfully dispersed the crowd and arrested the organizers of a protest. Still, those points have not gone up. Still not over 400. You basically, to do anything in there, you need over 400. See? Need to save up those points and open that ministry. That's what ideally I want to do. Don't know why it didn't go up then. New level of threat. Due to our aggressive foreign policy, the Americans announced a forced rise in the level of threats. Today, DEFCON has become even lower. From the advisor. Okay. Let's detente with them for a while. The Supreme Council of the Soviets is guided by the high principles of peace-loving politics, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Look, my points have gone down again. Very loyal generals and KGB. Science is creeping up, but those points, we don't understand how they work. No profit again. Ecological catastrophe. Ecologists are alarmed, and agricultural workers are demanding changes too. We are exploiting nature too much. Let's do that. Science is now at 0 when it was at minus before. Still don't have the reserves necessary. Casa 2. Today in South Africa, despite the reactionary policy of the government, the Congress of South African Trade Unions was founded, which included representatives of 21 trade unions. This is the largest trade union that actively collaborated with rebel opposition figures, which can help us fully deploy to attract the Republic of South Africa into our sphere of influence. Provide them full support. During the increased support from our side and the Western sanctions, as well as significantly increased funding for additional work with government, the African National Congress and the Communist movement began the armed struggle. Politicians of the left were fully pardoned under pressure from the rebels, though in the country, and sparked civil war, but resulted in a truce. Elections are scheduled. Who will will them? The left-wing coalition on the elections. South Africa is now mine. Mine. Botswana is now mine. Over in... Yes. Look at that map. Okay. Okay. Science has gone down again. Points have gone up. Don't understand how you accumulate points in this game. Let me just look this up a minute. Political points. Points. Crisis in the Kremlin. Increase. Get more of your political party in the Politburo. You need 15 points to pass a policy. Okay. How do you gain political power? Yeah. How much money you spend for government wages. Doctrines that have high KGB support. Okay, high KGB support doctrines. Still no science. So I've got loyalty of the KGB, but I don't have... How do I increase? Need to get to 100 somehow. Oh, we can ban the moderates. Look. Ban! That should increase our political power. That should increase our political power. Let's see what that does. Yes. Crisis of the services sector. It's a catastrophe. Oh, this again. Send finances to this sphere. All research points. Let's do that. Decrystallization. Shortly before his death, Comrade Chernenko began preparations for restoring the image of Stalin in history and shifting blame for the excessive de-Stalinization of the party to Khrushchev. By the time of his death, some Stalinist figures were restored to the party, such as, for example, Comrade Molotov. Will we continue this line? Let us restore the image of Stalin fully. Political rehabilitation of the entire anti-party group has begun, and Khrushchev was blamed for moving away from the principles of collective governance. Stalin reappeared in all of the textbooks as the great Soviet leader, lifting the country to its feet after the backwardness of the empire, the Civil War, and the Great Patriotic War, having carried out grandiose industrialization and raising the living standards, birth rate, and education. The blame for the repression was laid on the punished Yagoda and Yezhov, and Tukhachevsky and Tyshenko were found guilty of the first military failures of 1941. Following this, Beria was rehabilitated too. In the West, it has already been condemned. Yes, look at those political PowerPoints. Oof, 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 oof. Does that mean we've got more Stalinists in the government now? Is Beria back? Let's have a look. Beria, where is he? Or is he too old to serve? No. Who's this dude? Okay. Let's have a look here. So the Conservatives now are the Stalinists are gaining power every time, and that is basically the that is basically where I'm getting my political points from. Science is still non-existent. Is there anywhere I can put science budget? Let's have a look. I've got 33 million to spend here. Where's the science budget? Science. Let us increase this by 10, this, and this, say. See if it does anything. All right. I also want to see if political points get reset. Crisis in the Kremlin. Do you keep political points? Use political points making some decisions, and if the KGB is weak, increase special services funding. Get more of your political party in the Politburo. Yeah, but do I lose it if I don't use it? That's my question. Crisis in the Kremlin. Do political points accumulate is what I want to know. Political points. Political points accumulate. Okay, all right. No obvious answer here. So what I want to know then, that is still below the 400 mark, which is bad. Um, I need special services, but so let us try to increase the special services budget. Cut the environmental support, cut diplomatic missions. I'm going to give all that excess cash to special services. Where's special services? Here. There. All right, let's see what that does. Democratic movements in Russia. Unhappy citizens are being provoked. You're a tyrant and a totalitarian. For fuck's sake. Call the army against the rebels. I think when that happens, it freezes you, doesn't it? So let's just carry on. Unhappy intellectuals. Recently, you received a letter in which a lot of famous writers, musicians, artists, and scientists are expressing their unhappiness towards your culture policies. They ask you to do something about it. Enormous resources were transferred to our country's culture sphere. New public events are being prepared. New libraries, culture clubs, and cinemas are being opened. Okay. 96 political power. Look, we're almost there, friends. And we've got a little bit of science now, finally. Science! We need 30 money, 3 money, and 30 science points to do that. Okay. We're almost got enough points to open a ministry here. Look, the Stalinists in control, total spectrum dominance. More detente. Oh, why has it gone down to 20? Shortage of goods. Back in the 60s, as a result of Khrushchev's unsuccessful economic reforms, the country experienced a shortage of goods. The fight against it has been and is still ongoing with various resources, thanks to our mistakes. Okay. Soviet people should not care about luxury. Redirect economic resources to the production of goods. Send money to purchase goods from abroad. Production of goods for the population, together with the spending in agriculture, increased significantly. Generals are unhappy. Those political points gone down again, look. Oh, look, it reduced the general pay. So let's give less money to intellectuals. In fact, let's give almost no money to intellectuals. And let's give that excess money to generals. 70, call it. Okay, let's carry on. Nothing is forgotten. The other day in Brazil, the alleged grave of the Nazi criminal and sadist Joseph Mengele was found, who worked in the notorious concentration camp Auschwitz. Over the 21 months of his work at Auschwitz, he earned a reputation as one of the most dangerous Nazis, nicknamed the Angel of Death. He carried out the inhumane experiments on prisoners. Yeah. After the war, he had managed to escape to Brazil, Party members, in the year of the 14th anniversary of victory in the Great Patriotic War, offered to spend an anti-fascist month to once again recall the victims of fascism and honour the memory of the dead. We can also invite Brazil to carry out this campaign together, which will improve relations between our countries. Yes, let's do that then, because we want good relations with Brazil, our new comrades. Large-scale anti-fascist month unfolded in the USSR, countries of the social camp, and Brazil, during which the theme of the atrocities of the Nazi regime, blah, blah, blah. Good. Amid the cooling of relations between Brazil and the United States, they are increasingly gravitating towards cooperation with the USSR. But the domestic political situation leaves much to be desired. Apparently, the president of the new republic will not last long. Still not high enough. Look, we're in the red. Comrade, our economy has stagnated. Some comrades suggest action, some of them want to implement an acceleration policy. It expands import, budget expenses, and officially admits economic problems. Others suggest restore Andropov's methods of discipline, which were cancelled. That sounds good. Let us restore Andropov's methods. Campaign of restoring discipline and order in the industry gave us positive results. Total income are increased by 3%. Production increase of 4% are expected. Based. We've got more money. That's good. But we are... What's happened to this? We've lost oil income, sadly. Economy is not going well. We've not got political points. Stalinist is slowly taking over, but it's not going well, friends. Got a lot of money here, but how can we'll give that money 90 to the generals, 110 to the KGB. Enraged crowd, organized by opposition, began breaking into administration buildings. They want democratization of our rulership. Fuck's sake. Use the KGB against the rebels. Spetsnaz stormed the rebel buildings and snipers made panic among our enemies. Armed opposition was crushed. This is a problem. Science is stagnating at 24. Political points have gone down again. CPSU Congress, 1986 year. The next Congress of the CPSU begins. The agenda is most unusual. The report of the Central Committee, the report of the Central Audit Commission, debates on report, discussion of pressing issues of the party's life at the present stage, and elections to its governing bodies. At this Congress, we must maintain the positions we have approved. Here, we can also bring down the punitive sword of the party to those who are concerned about it. The Trotskyists are already in disgrace. The Politburo will not oppose Stalinists. Conservatives are too strong. Moderates in disgrace, reformers in disgrace, liberals in disgrace. So let's peacefully hold the Congress. You sought to avoid unnecessary conflicts, but the Congress decided otherwise. Several influential party members conspired, and then in the course of the debate made a sharp criticism of the party leadership. Most of your delegates supported them. You were removed. For fuck's sake, the Conservatives! We lost, friends, we lost. Well, come again, maybe another time. We will manage to save the USSR. On this occasion, I've been kicked out of power for being too much. The problem was we didn't crush the Conservatives quickly enough. I should have crushed the Conservatives earlier. Okay. Next time, friends. Good night. Goodbye for now. Alex boy.